since it has been on the news a lot about this refugee situation and also the war on terror, it's going to be a two-part video, one talking about the refugees and one part talking about the war on terror. And the first part I'm going to start out with, I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to talk about the war on terror. Alright, you see, the war on terror is a losing battle. You can't beat the war on terror for the simple fact of the matter is that terrorism by itself is such an ideology of hatred, of no mercy, that, you know, this is taught to thousands of people in third world countries who don't have electricity, don't even have energy. You know, some don't even have education. But when they can be taught to hate, boom, there you go. The seeds keep growing and growing and growing and growing. Also, the money that like governments that, you know, the U.S. for instance is using to combat terrorism is not even going to terrorism. And like none of the money. The U.S. is paying billions of dollars for terrorism efforts, and we don't see any of it. The war on terror is a joke. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute blatant disregard. You cannot beat the war on terror for the simple reason is this. Like I said before, the hate ideology. It comes from, you know, countries and places that's not the best in education, not the best in energy, but you can tell somebody to hate, boom, you're in, you know? And ISIS is going around beheading people like this is the BC times, which is insane to me. And also, the thing about terrorism is that terrorism can strike. It can strike at any given time. It's basically like unconventional warfare. You don't know when it's gonna happen. That's the thing. It's not like we're going in there to stop a dictator or something like that. You know, we know the dictator is boom, boom, boom. He's done. This is terrorism. All right. This is basically average, everyday people walking around. Boom, something happens. You can't combat it because you don't know when it's gonna strike. I mean, you could take all the precautions in the world, have all the laws in the world, but at the end of the day, it can strike at any given time. You know, a bus could be driving by and there could be an open road on the side. Boom, something done happened. You know, you could be going into the grocery store. Boom, something happens. You know, it's not regular warfare, and that's what makes terrorism so much deadlier. And also, when it comes to this about America being afraid of terrorists, this nation, the supposed land of the free, home of the brave, the land of opportunity for those who can afford the opportunity, are afraid of terrorists. You see, that's what they want us to do. They want us to give in to fear. They want us to cower in fear. They want us to hold our mommies, and they want to take our civil liberties away. Because just like somebody said, all right, those who rather have liberty in order for security deserve neither. I believe that's how it goes. Now, I believe that because without your civil liberties and whatnot, security could just do whatever it wants to do. Because if you have no protection, then screw it. What does your civil liberties mean? Nothing. Basically, the terrorists want people to be afraid. They don't want people to leave their homes. They don't want people to walk the streets. And yet we're all afraid? We shouldn't be afraid. We have to stand up. All right, we have to continue with our lives, continue with our days, because if we don't, then that means that they won. Because that's what they want us to do. They want us to give in. They want us to be afraid. At the end of the day, you know, we're a strong group of people. All right, we know what we want out of life, and basically things happen all the time. You can't let one major incident like this get to us, you know. And then to segue into the refugee situation, I feel as though even Donald Trump was saying that this could be a giant Trojan horse. All right, so what? Maybe it can be. But what I'm saying is this: we don't know that. If the U.S. was a war-torn place, all right, and there was people fleeing from Texas to go into Mexico or California to go into Washington and whatnot or something like that, we would want other nations to help us. Heck, we would want other states to help us to bring us in. We're not just going to sit here and say, oh yeah, the Americans, they're Westerners, they're stupid, they bring war, they bring chaos. You know, we would want help. You know, regardless if the nations don't like us, we would need help. All right. And so for people to say, and I seen something yesterday that the Democrats voted with the Republicans to stop refugees from coming into the country. I mean, has the U.S. lost their mind? First of all, the Democrats and whatnot, they're supposed to be on the side of the president, but that's a story for a different day. But to not let refugees in, I mean, I heard that there's a 2-year gap between the checking process. If the government was smarter, bring the refugees in, have them monitored, and when if they're that cautious, have them monitored, have them periodically checked, have screenings done in like a couple of months' time. Pass a bill that's actually effective, not something that's going to be dumb 2 years to screen and whatnot. And then the American people are scared that if you bring in refugees, that there's going to be more terrorists. Are you kidding me? People who need homes. Just like I said before, what if the U.S. needed a home? What if all the 50 states and other territories was destroyed and nobody had other place to go? We have to go to different countries. We have to go to, let's say, a Denmark. We have to go to, let's say, a Britain. We have to go somewhere, you know? So the U.S. needs to bring at least a little bit of people in. I'm not saying they even have to bring 1,000 in. Maybe they could bring in 600, 500. And when they bring the 500 in, screen them, all right? Monitor them, do whatever you got to do and whatnot. And then after that, make sure that the screening process is at least lowered down to a month. Why is it taking 2 years to screen people? It doesn't make sense. It's idiotic and it's dumb. But thinking that all refugees are terrorists is absolutely insane. It doesn't make any sense that people saying that refugees are terrorists. That's like saying that all black people are criminals, and like saying that, you know, let's say, for instance, another stereotype, that all Asians are smart. It doesn't work like that, you know? And then we're afraid of basically a religion. This is what it comes down to. We are afraid of a religion. A religion. All right, oh yeah, anybody that's Muslim, get them out the country and whatnot. If that's the case, they could say the same thing about the Christians. People know the Christians' history. Christians versus Muslims in the Crusades. The Christians doing this, the Christians doing that. If that's the case, get Christianity out the country. Get everybody who believes in God, get them out the country. And whatnot, instead of people who believe in Muhammad and Allah and all of this other stuff. If that's the case, get all the religions out the country. You know, I mean, people are just focusing on one religion. Oh no, they look different. They're from the Middle East. Get them out of here. It doesn't make sense. You know, that we are terrified of a religion, all right? How are you going to equate a religion with terrorism? I don't understand it, all right? The refugees, they need someplace to go. I'm not saying that the U.S. has to, you know, hold its hands out to everybody, because I made a video saying that the U.S. needs to focus on the U.S. But what I'm saying is that we are the most supposedly powerful country, so we could bring in at least a couple of hundred, like, you know, maybe 600, 500 or something, you know, and make sure that the screening process is faster than what it's going to be, okay? Stop this ignorant and stereotypical talk that a religion equates to terrorism, because I can bet you that if the people wasn't coming from the Middle East and they was still Muslim, that the U.S. would probably let these people in. If they was coming from somewhere like South America, Mexico, or some other place that was wealthy, regardless if they was Muslim or not, they would be in the country right now and whatnot. And while we're so concerned about refugees coming into the country, heck, somebody could blow something up and live in the country, you know? And what people tend to forget to realize is that these are extreme ideologies. Extreme ideologies. All right, not all one people are this way. Just because a few people want to blow something up in the name of a religion and whatnot, that's extremism. It's extremism. It has nothing to do with the religion itself. I don't think that there's any religion out there that I know of, at least, that's going around telling, oh yeah, you have to kill people. I don't know of it. Most religions that I know are like peaceful to, I guess, you know, but this video is going on 10 minutes. This is the longest I've ever talked. I don't like talking too long. But this has been the refugee and terrorism video. As always, let me know. I could be wrong.